What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? We back. We back in it. All right, let's see who we got in the building. Let's go on up here. Salute to Cali side. Y'all know the best mind in YouTube history always don't come through. You hear me? Salute. Salute Candy Crush, baby. DDP, what's up? Hey, Sunkies. Hey, girl, I haven't seen you in a little second. Country, what's up? Hey, Price. Hey, Audible. Oh, she lives over at the late show. Yeah. Yeah, quick little late show. We ain't gonna be on here, super duper long. We're gonna hit it and quit it. Hey, Tennessee girl. Salute. All right, y'all. So let's pull up this interview and see what he was talking about. Let's see if we can get any valuable information out of this. We gonna see. He might have dropped some gems. We gonna check it out and see what we can come up with, man. All right. All right, let's go. I'm going on mute. Everybody that's in the building, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, share the live. Hey, Tracy. Hey, baby. What's up? All right. I'm about to hit play, y'all.
Man, Denton and Collin County are two of the toughest counties for you to get justice in. They don't believe in awarding large sums of money for pretty much anything. And so that's a problem. And then you have judges up there who necessarily may lean on the same premise. Right. And so you're going to have some strong connection in order to make your case. And
real life. Real life. Yeah. Hold on, man. We got it back in the building. Larry the lawyer, Loud Coin. Pay me today, not tomorrow. However you wanna phrase it, man.
Man, look, man, I'm forever and will always be your real life lawyer, Larry Taylor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Larry, since the last time you've come through here, man, it's been a lot going on in the world.
It has been. The legal community in the world has been, we had wars that said they stopped and started back. We had people who we didn't think were going to jail. We have people who are telling on people. We have trials that are happening that we didn't think were going to go forward. Yeah, it's been a busy, hell, I've been busy.
Well, he is mostly definitely right about that. It's been a whole lot going on. Salute to Honey Pots for their 10 gems. Salute to Sunkiss for their 10 gems. What's up, JD Thug? What up with it? Girl, I don't know what kind of speech word / dreads he got going on. Child, I don't know. All right.
Yeah. So we are here to break it all down as we do.
Yes.
As we do at the time. But this is a little different because we have a chat today.
All right.
And it's going up quickly. So people may or may not want to ask some questions. They might need some legal advice. We don't know. We'll see. But for right now, what we're going to do is we have to start off with this. Let's go Yellow Beezy trial, man. Pre-trial.
Let's do it.
What is a pre-trial? What the hell is this?
So pre-trial basically is where you meet. It's almost like two gladiators meet in the ring, and you seen this like, okay, what's our choice of weapons? Knives, guns, short rifles. What are we doing? And so it's a way for you to sit down and find out what they call exhibits and what evidence will be allowed, right? And so in this case, and what everybody is talking about right now is the music. Right? The music and the videos. And should that be allowed? And Yellow Beezy's defense team is saying that his rap music shouldn't be utilized. We've actually, if you go back and take a look here on Real Life Street Stars, we talked about this before. And I've said that, your music is a form of art. and should not necessarily be used against you. But at the same time, you shouldn't be talking about things that you may have done in your rap music, because then
there's DNA.
Okay, I feel like that's the same answer we came up on.
And these individuals, the prosecutors,
will use anything that they can. So give me the perfect example.
Yeah.
If Stephen King was accused of murder, are we bringing in all his movies?
No.
To show that he has the propensity to kill people?
But what if he made a movie that literally to the T reenacted the actual murder?
The question is, was it written before or after the actual murder?
Okay, so these are some good questions. These are some good answers. Okay, I like the analogy that he used, because Stephen King definitely makes some very gory movies. But it wouldn't be fair to put the movies into trial. But what if it does imitate something that actually happened? Now, we've seen that happen with YMW Melly as well, with the Earth on My Mind, because he literally talked about it. But that song was recorded before it actually happened. So just something to think about.
Because a lot of times, if
and going back to Yellow Beezy, if his song came out after a shooting or after something happened, the streets talk. It's not hard for him to get information and get that information and spit it out into a rap lyric. It doesn't necessarily mean that he actually orchestrated or was actually there. And so it's a very thin line. And I hate to say it again, it's a horribly slippery slope to allow someone's artistic or art form to be used against them, especially, and this is the one thing that as a defense attorney, I would definitely look at. These guys were verbally.
Keep in mind, y'all, we are still waiting on the judge's decision. So she has not decided yet. She has not given us her verdict on whether she's going to allow the music to be played in court or not. But with all these points that he just came up with, what do y'all think? What do y'all think her judgment will be? To allow the music or to not to allow the music? Now, I do feel like the music creates a timeline. So
at each other's throats, right? In a city, in an area that both of them lived in. And so you can't really necessarily take these words as to be real life or to say that they actually committed these crimes or were part of these crimes. They might just be reinciting those crimes based on what they've heard from others.
Okay, so we have the pretrial.
Right.
They're in there to see if the music will be able to be used. Is that what the whole pretrial is about? Okay, so let me ask you this, right?
Music, and I think also a video. I think it's a video that they want to try to get in. The prosecutor wants to get in from a alleged witness.
Right.
And so we can talk about that, but I have a whole different, idea and theory on that as well.
Now that you've looked over the pretrial, right? What are some of the shocking developments that have come from this pretrial?
I mean, nothing is really shocking about the pretrial. The only concern, I would honestly bet money that we probably ended up getting this trial continued. Because if they allow this evidence in, the first thing I'm arguing as a defense attorney, Judge, we're less than 30 days. You allow them to introduce evidence that, 30 days before the trial without giving us an opportunity to have our private investigators really sort through what they're trying to present. And so to us, that's an unfair advantage and surprise, because 30 days is not enough time for us to potentially find a witness that would refute what they're trying to bring in or the evidence that they're trying to insinuate. Because they're bringing it in, they're saying not necessarily as facts, but just to show that there was bad blood between the two. And to me, that's a lie. That's a lie. Because if you introduce that song, it's going to prejudice the jury when you lay out the scenes of the crime and the acts that mirror the song. If you need to say that they had bad blood, Your Honor, we'll get up and admit and say that if these two gentlemen saw each other, physical violence would happen. So there's no need for this evidence to come in. We will concede that there was bad blood. This is just throwing gasoline onto a fire as far as the jury is concerned. There's no need for it. And so those are some of the things that I would argue as to keep that evidence out.
So a lot of, from what I'm seeing online, as far as the pretrial, is that
I don't know if my advice to him as a defense attorney would be to admit that if these two guys ran into each other, violence would ensue. Like, so I'm supposed to admit that if we were to cross paths, we would try to unalive each other? Like, what? I don't know about that one, Larry the lawyer.
They're trying to say that he went to LA and posted alive as an alibi, right? And that it's almost like they're trying to pin him in pretrial. I thought that was a little odd. Like, I thought we were talking about lyrics, but they started kind of getting into the case. They start talking about Trap Boy Freddy, and they started talking about other people. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we were just talking about lyrics in court. How did it get to talking about other people and who might be doing what?
Because the lyrics and the song, and I think it's a video, because I think Trap Boy Freddy is going to be a witness, and they need these videos and these songs to draw the correlation, because allegedly the murder vehicle or the vehicle used during one of the shootings or during the murder appears in one of the videos. And they need all of this to give Trap Boy Freddy credibility with the jury, right? I mean, that's understandable. But at the same time, you can get there without that. They have enough to get there without that. They have the 911 calls. They have the interviews with Yellow Beezy after he was shot. They have enough information to do this without necessarily using his song against him, because the whole premise, they're saying, look, I got a gun, but I'm not using it. It's behind my back. It's behind my back. So I'm not really using it. When a jury sees and knows that they have a gun, such as the rap song, they can never get that out their head.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, 100 and
like I said, if they listen to that lyric, because I guarantee you the lyrics that they're going to play are the lyrics that are going to mirror the actual murder. And so if you tell me I'm not supposed to really take the song literally, like I'm not supposed to believe what he says, but you just showed me how the people were murdered, how am I to get that out my head? It is so prejudicial that it's not funny.
So one of the other highlights that I've been seeing is this song Take 3, which was featured on LA Leakers, but they're saying there's a version of the song that was sent, I guess, to one of the people that was involved in the murder that same day that he got murdered, and the lyrics are damning. And that's kind of where they're leaning everything on, right? So I ask you as a lawyer, right? Is that an angle?
Is it an angle?
Yeah.
Yeah. The prosecutor is trying to throw as much at them as possible without necessarily really tying them in, right? It's not like, hey, we got his video of him meeting with the guys. Hey, we have money transfers. Hey, we got this. All we have is someone sending a song. And anyone, like if I'm a defense, first thing I'm gonna do is find someone like Quiet Money. Right. And I'm saying, hey man, how long does it take you to come up? If I got a beat right now, how long does it take you to rap over it?
Right.
No, man, I can 10 minutes. Okay. So they could have made this song 10 minutes after the murder hit TV. So how do you know that he actually did it? He just heard what was said. He got a couple of calls. He went into the studio and made a song real quick. That doesn't mean he did it.
On the flip side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mo3 has a lot of songs on his end that some would say are self-incriminating.
Right.
At any point, could any of this be looked at as, hey, this is self-defense on my behalf because I fear for my life? I'm just asking a question. I'm just curious.
No, because we've actually, what you remember is we had this conversation before. And so I said to myself, and as a defense attorney, I would put the light right back on the prosecutor and law enforcement. I was like, since we listen to the rap music.
Since we listen to music. Let's load this playlist.
I'm a huge Mo3 fan. Right. Let's put this album on when Mo3 talked about being on the toll road and shooting and hating he didn't accomplish what he accomplished.
Right.
You heard that.
Right.
You interviewed my client. Why weren't you making an arrest then? You could, if this is what you say it is, you had an opportunity to stop it. And so I asked the jury, if you tell someone is trying to kill you, you show them they said they're trying to kill you, and law enforcement does nothing about it.
And law enforcement failed.
What are you to do? I mean, we are an open carry state. I mean, we do live in Texas. I mean, you can kill a man for.
How y'all feel about his defense for that? Tell me in the chat.
Hitting your horse. Needless to say, basically saying that he's going to kill you and people in your family. So what do?
Yeah.
You create a psychosis.
Yeah.
I would bring in an expert to talk about how my client had sleepless nights, how, he was afraid to leave the house. He was afraid for his grandmother. He was afraid for his family, and he got no assistance. And I'm not saying he did it, but anyone who is related or close to the situation could have took this matter into their own hands.
So this is what I want to know, right? From your expert opinion, who is this? Is this in his favor or not in his favor? Like, what the pretrial that you've been seeing, like some of the things that you've been seeing in court, is it going to Yella Beezy's favor or is it not?
Well, it just depends on how the judge rules.
Where do you predict? Let's make, because you're pretty spot on predictions. So,
man, this is going to be a tough one because the judge is kind of an old school judge, right? She is kind of or they're kind of, hey, try your case, right? And don't necessarily throw in all of this fanfare or grandstanding. Try your case. And it might come into a situation where she might not make a ruling on it other than you can't use it, and let's see if a door is open for you to allow you to use it. Because what she doesn't want is this to get to a point where it's so much circumstantial evidence that it looks like solid factual evidence.
Right.
A slow Mac drags you down.
Insane, man. So your prediction is she's gonna let them try the case.
My prediction is this. She's either going to withhold making a ruling and letting the trial go and tell the prosecutor hold off on using it if the defense opens up a door, or something comes in that will allow that to be used, then you'll be able to use it. Or she's going to say it comes in, but something else comes in. If that happens, I'm pretty sure the defense is going to ask for a continuance to give them time to prepare for this new, in light of this new evidence.
And I hope we get no more continuances. Like, we've been waiting forever. So I hope that her ruling to let the music stay does not hold the trial up. Because he's basically saying that it's going to be so much information now that it's ruled that the music can stay. Defense has to prepare for that, right? And wouldn't be ready for the trial date of August 25th. So they would obviously ask for a continuance. And I hope that does not happen. Like I said, we've been waiting for forever. But all right, let's see what else he got to say.
Coming in this late during the trial.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's another issue with a black man on a boat with surrounded by some white kids. My man named Nolan Wells. Is it Nolan Wells?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously everybody knows the story at this point. He came up missing after going on a boat ride with his friends, never returned. They act like they don't know what's going on. One of the kids' mom's a judge. Seems like a cover-up. When you investigate this story, what do you see? Because when you're talking about somebody has a judge in their pocket, that seems like
now what the hell Nolan got to do with this?
a lot of power.
But they made a TV show about it on HBO or Showtime, didn't it? Where the guy killed the mobster.
Yes.
Child.
Oh yeah, Your Honor.
Yeah, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Yeah. I mean, look, man. That is, I hate to say this. I don't hate to say it. Every phase of life has a club, right? So judges, they're in a club for judges. And so people can say, man, all them judges stick together. Yeah, they kind of do. Police officers, right?
Yeah.
Black girl magic. Everybody kind of has this group that they identify with and they support. And so it's going to be very difficult for any of the attorneys working to get these young men prosecuted, knowing that there's a judge's child at stake. That's a whole nother level or layer to think about when trying to get these cases prosecuted. Because one of the things about the criminal court system is it is a ecosystem into itself, from the police department, from the prosecutor to the judge. They all know that if they work together, that things move along. When the prosecutor's fighting with the judge, things get backed up. There's problems in the court. We've seen it in Dallas County when my guy Craig Watkins was fighting with some of the criminal judges. It caused problems. And then if the prosecutor or the police feel that the DA or the prosecutors aren't prosecuting the cases that they want, and I know this as a prosecutor, police officers will honestly tell you, well, we'll pick and choose when we come to trial. And so as a prosecutor, you got to worry about police officers not showing up on your case and you need them as a witness, because without them, you don't have probable cause and you cannot move forward with your case. And if you piss them off, they won't come. And anybody who says that doesn't happen, you'll bald-faced lie.
So what is the update on this case? Everybody's mad about Ben Crump getting, doing the autopsy. What is it with Ben Crump? Like, is there something?
Hey, man, shout out to my brother Ben, man. Ben and I work on several cases together. I'm just not working on this particular case with him. But, I mean, Ben is Ben. And so, we live in a country where people are free to choose who they want to represent them.
Right.
And they saw fit to pick Ben. And so Ben brings a lot to the table as far as bringing lawyers. He's brought lawyers like myself to the table, and media exposure. And so a lot of that weighs into people's choices. But there's a lot of great attorneys. Ben and I are giving an award out. Shout out to my man, Tony Romanucci. He worked on the George Floyd case with Ben out of Chicago. So that's my guy, my brother. And so we like I told you, everybody has their club. That's my fraternity. Attorneys who deal with 1983s and discrimination cases. We have our group of fraternity and who we work with. And so it is what it is.
Okay, so what is your prediction on this? Do you think we'll see justice in this case? Yes or no? And you got the chat going crazy, by the way. The chat is going up.
My prediction on this case is there is a 60% chance that law enforcement won't find what they need to move forward other than an accidental drowning.
Damn.
60% is over half. So, wow.
Damn.
Now, could they make an arrest for interfering with a police investigation? By all means, yes. Deleting, moving clothes, moving evidence is interfering. And should they be charged with at least that? Yes. But does that get you to where you need to be in a civil case in which you're going to actually sue?
Who are we if it doesn't mean helping each other?
The families of the young men that were part of this? I don't know. And another thing is the county that it's in. Man, Denton and Collin County are two of the toughest counties for you to get justice in. They don't believe in awarding large sums of money for pretty much anything. And so that's a problem. And then you have judges up there who necessarily may lean on the same premise. Right. And so you're going to have some strong connection in order to make your case and to get it not to the point where it's not dismissed through summary judgment.
Damn. Hey, man, we are live with Larry, the lawyer. I see y'all in here deep. Hey, okay. They're in the chat. They want to know about the Pooh Shiesty case. Shout out to him. Pooh Shiesty case.
Instead of Yellow Beezy pretrial, he should have named this all relevant trials that's going on now, all relevant cases, because we talk about everything but 3 Yellow Bees in them now at this point.
And what specifically do you want to know about the Pooh Shiesty case? Let's ask that first. But yeah. let's go over it. So the Pooh Shiesty case, obviously, we know what happened. It happened in Dallas, Texas. We see the recording. We see what's going on. Number one, did Gucci, according to the documents, did he give a statement?
Man, I'm going to say once again the same thing I said before. I don't think he had to. And I don't think he's necessarily the most credible person for them to have as a witness, because anytime that you committed a felony or you committed some kind of crime, they can always impeach you on that and really ask you that. And so juries kind of frown upon things like that.
Right.
The fact that, and it's something that I told every entertainer to do, and I've said it about 5 times in 5 interviews, hire you an off-duty officer. When I had Lil Woody come to Houston to go to Texas Southern University, I hired 3 off-duty HPD officers. Why? Because the state of Texas says they can legally carry a gun. 2, if there's a problem, not only do they know who to call, and skip dispatch, they can get some things done, and they can testify and have the credibility in order to do so. And so you want to make sure that when you go somewhere that you put your best foot forward, because the main goal is to get where you need to go, get your bag, and get back home. And so Gucci did it right by having that off-duty officer with him. That guy is the guy. He knows how to he knows how to write a police report. So believe me, he knows how to dictate one to somebody else.
So is that like a loophole for snitching?
Man,
I'm gonna have my officer snitch on you.
You know what? It
seems like a good loophole to have, though.
It's not a loophole. It's a business decision, right? I mean, I'm not going to walk into a lion's den with flip-flops and some OP shorts, Ocean Pacific. I don't know what people wear nowadays. I'm old. Some Gucci shorts, right? I need a sword, a spear, a gun. I need something to ensure my protection. And so if I'm a felon, I can't carry a gun. The best thing to do is to have someone who can carry a gun. That they won't, because the thing is too, and I told you this before, if you hire someone who can legally carry a gun and they're not a police officer, and you're around that gun, law enforcement can try to say that's because you had access to the gun, you're now a felon in possession of a firearm.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily a loophole from snitching. You're just looking out for your best interest. Gucci got too much going on to be worried about that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna make that the title. Larry figured out a loophole for snitching for the street niggas.
See, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
I bet you want this to go viral.
Hey,
Larry.
man, look here, man. Man, my man gonna put me in front of a bus.
I'm just joking. I ain't gonna do that. But somebody did ask a good question. There's a couple good fan questions. I'm gonna ask them after this. But what I want to know from the Pooh Shiesty situation, right, is they got it all on camera.
Right.
Is Pooh Shiesty cooked? Is it over? Is it pretty much open shut case?
Just depend on who the defense lawyer is, baby. I tell you all the time.
You can get out of this? You can figure out a way out of this?
Man, I thought about this in a couple of different ways. And so, I mean.
Some kids, I know, and it won't let me change it. I don't know if I got to pay StreamYard to take it down or what, but usually if StreamYard not paid, they put that little plain little background in the back, but for some reason they would not let me take Young Boy off, y'all. So he be up in all the lives. Salute to DC Play for the 500 gems. Salute to you, baby. It won't come down. It just will not let me take him down. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried because I don't really be wanting NBA Young Boy back there when I'm talking about Nolan Wells and shit. So, but child, look.
And we talking Johnny Cochran. This is Johnny Cochran now. It's Johnny Cochran defense, whatever.
And so he has a couple of issues by being a felon and being possibly around other felons. He has some issues dealing with him not being where he's supposed to be and not reporting while he's off the record. I mean, I'm sorry, off the given path and not where he's supposed to be because he's on house arrest. But there is
Airwick's cordless essential mist diffuser's wide range of scents make every occasion fragrant and inviting.
Explanation of why he was where he was and why what happened. And so, you know, the great thing about it is if no one from his side has said anything yet, then they still have an opportunity to tell their story.
Man, okay, so somebody asked about the record labels and them putting shout out Keela Dam, I think that's her name. But what about life insurance policies the record labels are putting on artists?
Man,
does that correlate? I mean, does it? You think it's a?
So it was her name is Miss Lamb.
Yeah.
Ms. Lamb, let me say this. When you're an asset to a company, they put an insurance policy on you. I am required to have a life insurance policy on myself just because of who I am to my law firm. I mean, it's just part of business. I mean, I don't want to go, and I'm not giving financial advice or anything like that, but they're called key man policies. Anytime that you have an artist that is valuable, or even a CEO or a vice president, someone who is valuable to their corporation, they have key man policies on them. And so that is one of the reasons why record labels do that, because they've invested so much money in getting this artist out there. You know, I represent an artist, and I will one day talk about it, but I'm suing Sony. And so it was drug overdose. And so it's a lot of situations where you have artists and you spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands.
I wonder if he's talking about Enchanted. I don't know though. She was in. Wasn't she down there? Maybe he's talking about Enchanted. Hey, it's just me. Salute love. Y'all let me know.
Dollars and something happens and there's no money
To show for it.
Nobody asks, what's the difference between legal and lawful, and why is the bar registered to a British company?
Okay, I don't have a problem saying I'm stumped, but when you say the bar is registered to a legal company,
A British
company, nothing I do is other than doing business in Europe or in Canada. And shout out to my Canadian co-counsels. But other than doing that, nothing that involves my bar card involves the British.
Okay. All right. Malik Crapo says, what's the difference between murder and homicide?
I mean, man, I think that's just a play on words. And as far as jurisdictions are concerned, each, just like you have in Texas, we call driving drunk a DWI. In California, they call it a DUI. And so driving under the influence and driving while under the influence is the same thing. It's just phrased differently based on the jurisdiction, because both of them involve death.
Okay. They want you to break down Lil Durk. So we talked about Lil Durk and the fact that he got some things thrown out. I don't know if it was lyrics or if it was one of the murder cases. They didn't add it to the RICO or something like that. Let me look it up, bro.
Yeah, tell them to
break down. If y'all in the chat, what specifically in the Lil Durk case do y'all want to break down? And then she says, nobody says BAR stands for British Accreditation Registry. Accreditation, yeah.
So let me say this. There may have been a lot of things, and that.
Okay, so fun fact. Do y'all know that our education books, you know how you see McGraw and Hill on them? Did y'all know that that is a company owned by Maxine Griswain, who was wrapped up in the Epstein files, who's in jail? Yeah, her daddy owned the company, McGraw and Hill, where all our kids get their education from in the school system. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Term and that word might be trademarked or
somehow related to that. But in the state of Texas, I mean, you think about it. We're Texas.
Right.
We're not doing anything involving any foreign companies.
Right.
They're not having it here. Matter of fact, just recently, the state of Texas said that they're not even associating with the legal bar examiners. Right? They don't even care. They're basically going to license their own lawyers, similar to California. You know, they're not part of the national accreditation for bar examiners. And so I hear what she's saying, but I can tell you at no point during my journey as becoming a lawyer, at no point do I pay taxes or have anything to do with the British. But they may trademark the name, right? Bar might belong to them, but at the same time, they can't necessarily, we're not beholden to them as far as using it.
Somebody says as a
AC Shakur, I wouldn't say that. He's just an attorney from that way. You know what I mean? So I think he's just talking about where he knows the most about, which is Denton County and Collin County. Y'all know down here we don't have counties. We the only state that have parishes. So Louisiana does not have counties. Like, we the only one that have parishes. Everybody else have counties. But yeah, he practices law in Texas and out that way. So that's why that's, his main focus.
felon, can I get my rights back after 10 years of no trouble?
This is what you need to do. You need to get as many people as you can to go to the voting booth and vote for elected officials who want to overturn that.
So break down what he's talking about, because people that don't know, because this is a good topic.
So I mean,
so he's saying felons just don't ever get their rights back?
No right to vote and no right to carry a gun. So there's a there's a contradiction. So in Texas, the Texas Penal Code basically says that after a certain period of time, you can have a gun, right?
Right.
Well, the federal Penal Code says you can never carry a firearm. And the Texas Penal Code more leans toward, and if memory serves me correctly, especially only if you're involved in violence or domestic violence, does something like that become permanent.
Yeah,
but in this regard, with the federal, I had a friend and I kept telling him, I said, dude, you cannot have a gun.
The trial, though.
You cannot have a gun. You're a felon. He's like, oh man, I live in Texas, and in Texas, I said, dude, federal rules trump state law. And so sure enough, he got picked up and they got charged with felon in possession of a firearm. Luckily, I was able to keep the feds from taking the case. And so he only got charged in the state courts. And so we were able to kind of get that reduced and get him on about his way. But at this point, he knows now that he's not supposed to be around any guns. And so as far as getting your rights back, I agree with you, man. There's been arguments that if you have a nonviolent offense and an offense that is not necessarily dealing with moral turpitude, then you should be able to get your voting rights back.
Shout out Kelly. She's back in here. She said, what should we know about the open carry laws?
Man, I have mixed feelings about that. I'm a firm believer in
get back to trial, man.
Being, in Ohio, that retribution or punishment. And so you walk around and you carry a gun and, it's up to the officer that stops you.
Yeah. If he ain't going back to the trial, then we finna cut his ass off.
Set up for us.
Let me just say this: I don't do it. Now, you come in my house, it's a different story.
Right.
But anything else? No, I'm not. I'm 6'1", 250 pounds. My sheer presence, officers have already kind of like moved back, and only through talking to them do I get them to calm down. And it's like, okay, let's just de-escalate this. Let's both go home, man. All right, let's both go home. Let's talk. I'm gonna tell you who I am. Tell you what I do. I'm gonna talk about that bad haircut you got. They laugh, we do our thing, and I get out of there. Because, me raising my voice or me flexing or making a move already physically puts them at on the offensive. If I actually had a weapon, then at that point it becomes, my wife becomes a widow.
Let me ask you this, because what was it? There was a kid that ran out the store and they gunned him down.
Oh my God.
Is it?
But as far as where you live, right? If you had your bank account over the last couple of years, law and order, yeah, they believe in that heavily. To the community as a whole, I can enhance it.
Man, let me see, man. We got Larry in here. Y'all are really good. Y'all are going crazy. A lot of people in here, more than even Dots. Shout out to Quiet Money. Y'all almost 300 strong in the chat. If y'all have any questions y'all want to ask Larry, now is the time to do so. Let's do some promo real quick since we got a lot of people on the chat.
Lawyers across the country saying when we go to the hospital, it's about pain and need. Something like that happens to you. Please.
What's the other website?
And
the dude. I don't know if this is the real Devin the dude.
That's my guy.
No, it's not. But he said the Boosie situation where he paid the $600,000 for the pardon, and went online, blasted them, and is trying to get his money back. Number one, this sounds like the craziest scenario in all of the world. I mean, $600,000 for a pardon. Is that a thing that they're doing? Are they got pardon tickets going around? Is that a thing?
Let's name them. I'm not saying they paid. Lil Wayne,
Kodak Black,
Uncle Snoop, allegedly,
Nicki Minaj.
All of these are allegedly, right?
Right.
They either did it for themselves or they did it for someone that they cared about. And so you got to ask yourself, because I had a way that I felt, and so I posed this question to you: if your mom or your brother or your sister was looking, or your dad, because we can't forget dads, can't just throw daddy away because I'm a father. If your father or family member was looking at facing 20 to 30 years to life in federal prison, would you not shake hands with the enemy or pay for them not to go?
Okay, he ain't talking about shit.
With this Trump administration, right? Yeah.
Will he get his money back now? No. Good luck with that, man.
All right, man. I know you got to get up out of here.
So all the young folks out there,
he gonna harass the fuck out the people behind that.
You have to look at it every day, right? And so,
you don't know, Boosie, if you think anything different. Okay, let's remove his ass off the screen. I feel like he gave us nothing valuable. I feel like we learned nothing new. We learned absolutely nothing. Like, he took us down through there for crumbs, like literally. Shit, we back to just waiting on the judge decision. Okay, at this point, whether or not she gonna allow the music to be played during trial or not. They have removed the Friday date. What today is? Thursday. That was tomorrow. During the summertime, it'd be hard for me to keep up with days. Yeah. So the one for tomorrow has been removed because they are waiting on her judgment, her verdict. But yeah, he ain't tell us nothing, y'all. He ain't help us. He ain't give us no insight. Child, they took us all around the world. It was Ring Around the Rosie. We got to talk about Pooh Shiesty. We got to talk about Lil Wayne, Boosie, Nolan Wells. Child, it was kind of all over the place. He should have titled that differently because we thought we was about to get, you know what I'm saying? This whole interview was, I'm thinking, was strictly about pretrial. No, it was about the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes that he talked about it. And he gave us absolutely nothing, y'all. When I say absolutely nothing, I feel scammed. Like my kids say, they always holler about they got scammed by somebody. They scammed us, mama. He scammed us for sure. Okay? He gave us nothing. Okay, SRT King, he did for the first 5 or 10 minutes, but that was it. I'm so disappointed. Like, he gave us absolutely nothing. Real life street stores is out of line for that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I am coming back in the morning to talk about, or do y'all want to talk about it tonight? I'll give y'all a choice in the chat. Y'all want me to come back in the morning, or y'all want me to go ahead and pull it up now? But they did drop the second interview with the friend that's been speaking on Nolan Wells, the one who separated from him and rode on Burton's boat, but he spent the night with Wyatt, and him and Wyatt went and got McDonald's that morning and all that other shit. So he has came out with the second. Okay, Pride said tonight. Anybody else saying tonight? If so, I'll pull it up and we'll get right into it because Larry the lawyer was very disappointing. It was Larry the loser, if you ask me. Okay. All right, Sunkey said we here, let's get it. Okay, his last interview pissed me the hell off, y'all. But nonetheless, we're gonna get right on to it. Hopefully he don't piss me off in this one. Cause what? Alright, I'm putting it up, y'all. If we can find it. Alright.
Leo's working hard.
Y'all don't like him either,
Pampers
though,
is
so.
working hard, keeping him dry. Only Pampers Swaddlers has a...
Alright. Let me see. It looks like he might have dropped 2 and 3. But let's see. Alright. Alright, so we watched 2. We watched 1. So I'm gonna pull up 2 and 3, and we're gonna watch 2 and 3. Okay, y'all. Alright. Let me put it on the big screen. Alright, let me see. Looks like I got something. Salute to is that relocate? Salute to you, baby, for the 800 gems. Thank you. Salute to SRT Ken for the 350 gems. Y'all be showing the hell out. Some on him. Never mind, baby. Perfect, catching you up. Okay, because the friend gave absolutely nothing, y'all, in the first interview. He wasn't answering questions, all type of other shit. But let's see if he give us something this time. He better give us something, goddammit. All right.
Some of the boys that they're accusing wasn't even on the boat that Nolan was on.
If I'm sitting waist deep in water and all my friends are, everybody's leaving their phone on a boat. I opened the back hatch and there's water up to the batteries. And that is obviously not good. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with. And the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah. All right, we're in Mississippi right now. We're getting ready to recount the exact path that the boys took, also with Nolan Wells, from where they docked the boat at all the way out to Horn Island and back. The boys are going to explain to me exactly what went on, how many people were there, how many boats were taken out, which I think the world is going to be completely dumbfounded when they realize what the truth really is, because the lies have been pervasive. So we're right here where Nolan left on the boat, and you'll find out how many people were there, how many boats, and then we're going to take that same path out. I'm going to go look at Horn Island and see exactly where
the girl would actually be mentioned in one of these 2 interviews. So one of the ones that we're going to watch tonight, which is part 2 and part 3, she is being mentioned. So we should be hearing more about her. I think she was in the title of one of them. So here we go, y'all.
Where they could have been to get a perspective that the media don't even
care to try to do. And then we're going to take the trek back and we're going to find out exactly what happened to Nolan. This is the reason why I'm here, man. I want you guys to have a voice. I want you guys to be able to speak out and show what the truth really is, and then let the world decide. I just don't want you guys to end up in a situation where your story never gets heard. Right here is where Nolan and
Whoa. You don't want them to be caught up in a situation where their story never gets heard. We haven't heard their story because they haven't told us their story. They lawyered up and erased their social media, and we're not doing interviews. And then they sent this guy who wasn't actually on the boat with Nolan to do an interview that gave us absolutely nothing. So why are you making it seem like their story is being hindered? We've been trying to hear from them since day one. What are we talking about? Like, come on. Let me see what SRT can say. Serious note, the missing esophagus and the redness to the back of the head is more alarming than the girl found face down, fully clothed, keys still at the house, but the car is there. Well, we found out earlier that allegedly he wasn't fully clothed. It just looked like that from the angle that the airplane was flying or some shit like that. But he actually didn't have on a shirt. He only just had on his swim trunks. He was barefoot, so they're saying now that he didn't have a shirt on. But correct, he did not have his keys and he did not have his cell phone. Which I felt like that didn't match. Like, okay, I can maybe possibly see the keys, but him still having his cell phone. I can see the keys. It's a teenager. It's 4th of July. It's a lot going on. You know, I can see the keys being left behind and being like, oh shit, I left my keys on the boat. I'll just call them whenever I pull up to their house to get my keys. That's more understandable. But the cell phone and the keys, nobody is like, hey, I'm going to stay on this island, but here, take my phone and my keys with you. Like, what? That makes absolutely no sense. Son kids, I am trying. This shit is really upsetting to me. And this guy distanced himself from Nolan. Okay, yes, he did. He most definitely made it a point to tell us that he was not on the boat with Nolan. That he got on Burton's boat, okay? And that Nolan was on the boat with Wyatt. They knocked that child out, then threw him in my opinion. Yeah, something happened. Something happened with that throat area too. But I'm wondering, like, okay, if something did happen to the throat, wouldn't they kind of like see the abrasion still on the neck, the bruising still on the neck? Or like, was his throat bone like broken? Like, I don't know. They're gonna have to explain this throat stuff to me. An average swimmer ain't drowning. No water found in his lungs. I don't think they even gave us the results of the lungs, honestly. Keep putting off for real. I haven't been keeping up like I did with Mello, but these new updates, yeah. Okay, keeping the throat so the private mortician couldn't evaluate or inspect for strangulation. Yeah, that's why I said I wonder if it still would have showed like abrasions on the neck though. PayDae, but the girl is saying he was not with her. I know. I heard her say that. And she spoke personally with Nolan's mom, so she most definitely said that from her knowledge, he was getting back on the boat with his friends. It was never agreed upon that he would stay behind with her. So, yeah, they didn't tell us about the lungs, y'all, unfortunately. I was wondering if the lungs was missing as well, like what was going on. That's what I'm saying. They kept the throat. It's a bone that gets crushed when someone gets choked. Yeah. I think it's right. It's so sad. Nick would have definitely been bruised if something was used. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, is it even possible to do something? Like, what would show up in the throat that doesn't show up on the neck? You know what I mean? Like, no scratching, bruising, abrasions on the neck itself, but then some kind of way something happens to the throat. Like, I don't know, y'all.
Probably 20 other kids got on the boat. So it's not just Nolan and 3 other kids. That was a lie. That was a myth. I'm going to prove that. Right here is where the kids were docking, and we're going to show you a video that coincided. I'm going to walk at the exact angle that the video is being broadcast from, so you know that I'm exactly where I say I am. But the boys were here. Tons of people you'll see on the video is getting onto the boat, and they took 3 boats out. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just Nolan and 3 and 4 boys. It was a multitude of people on several different boats. And some of the boys that they're accusing wasn't even on the boat that Nolan was on. But let me show you from the vantage point where I have the video to prove that I'm here where I say I am. And so right now, here's the angle that you're going to see on the footage. It's just from probably that boat to, maybe about 30, 40 feet here to the right. And this is where the video is showing how many people were actually out there, actually getting on the boats. So therefore, it debunks very clearly that it was only Nolan and 4 boys going out here to Horn Island.
AI is creating new ways of working or running a business.
All right, you guys, sorry about the sunglasses. It's very bright out here, and I never wear sunglasses, but we're at Horn Island in almost the exact same position where the boys were, where Nolan was. So if you look out right here, just so you guys can get a perspective, you have the Horn Island here, but I want you guys to put this in your mind, what this was like on that day. You have boats 2, 3, 4 deep from way down there where you can see all the way through here. You have thousands of people on this island, probably 2,000 people. So this wasn't some abandoned, secluded island where nobody's at. Obviously, this is a Monday, and there's a few people on the backside of the island, not a lot of people here. But on 4th of July, this is a celebration. And so this wasn't a small place where 4 boys took their black friend and dropped him off and never seen him again. This place was flooded with people. Tons of people, multiple boats, multiple friend groups. I mean, everybody's here having a good time. And then the boat gets towed out because it was getting ready to sink. And so, and
I'm trying to understand his point and keep telling us it was a bunch of people there. Like, if nothing else, that makes it weirder. That all these people was here and everybody's claiming that they didn't see anything. And that he wasn't in distress at all. Like, so you keep driving home the point that a bunch of people was there. Like, is that to justify them leaving him because it was thousands of people there, so he could have caught a ride with anybody? Like, I'm just trying to understand the importance of you telling us that it was 1,000 people there. Like, okay, that just makes it weirder.
from what I was told, they told Nolan, get on the boat, man, get on the boat. Get on the freaking boat. And he decided, because he's an adult, that he was going to stay behind. And all the boys that they've been accusing, and they saying it had something to do with his death, they were all gone at 4:30. They were all gone. And they told Nolan to get on the boat. He didn't. And then there was a report.
Now, we looked at the time earlier, but I wonder how much did they pay this nigga? How much did they pay this nigga for this shit?
Report of somebody seeing Nolan around 6:30-ish. And so for them to come out and claim these lies, won't take the time to come to Horn Island, won't take the trip out here to figure out what happened, won't talk to anybody, pushing an agenda is wrong. And that's the reason why I came out here. I wanted to see for myself, what did this look like? What could have happened?
Wait, what? So it's everybody else's fault. So it's our fault for not traveling to Horn Island. Wait, what the fuck? Man.
You know, does the stories line up based on what I've seen and what I've heard from people that live here that were involved in this situation? This is where the lie started. People were putting out on social media, knowing that they're lying, that this is what it was like on a day that Nolan and his friends came out here to Horn Island. And if it was 4 or 5 people and they came out here and Nolan was with them and maybe it was a few people out here like it is today and Nolan came up missing, then maybe it would be suspicious. But they didn't take the time to give context to the people because they're evil and they're liars.
Son Kids, his name is Officer Tatum. He has a YouTube channel and he is interviewing the friend. I don't know about his past work, but when I played his video before, a lot of people said that he always on some coon shit. So, yeah.
So if it was like that right now, when the situation happened, I can see how people had a concern. But you got to replay this moment with thousands of people here. If anything would have happened directly involving Nolan and his friends, you can't tell me that thousands of people wouldn't have seen anything happen. And so that's pretty much why I want to come here and show you guys. This is what they want you to believe it was like on that day, which is a lie. They want you to believe they came to a secluded island, just 4 of them, and then Nolan is left behind and then his body's washed up on shore, and nobody knows what happened.
Has anybody in the chat at one time ever thought that? Hey, Janine. Like, I have never thought that it was just this group of people that was at Horn Island that day. Like, that was never put out or said like that. We've always known that it was a whole bunch of people. So who are you speaking on when you say they want y'all to believe that? Who wants us to believe it? Because we've been knowing since day one that it was a bunch of people. It was the 4th of July. It was a celebration. Everybody was going to Horn Island. This was tradition for them. It was thousands of people. We've been knowing this since the beginning. So to sit here and be like, that's what they want y'all to believe. Who want us to believe that? Because we've never heard that. That has never been put out or presented like that.
Nobody could have seen what happened but the boys. It's a flat out lie.
No. We think that nobody could have seen what happened but the boys because it obviously didn't happen here because it was thousands of people there. And even after everybody left, it was 2 groups of people still on that island that camped out with a tent overnight. So we want to know what happened while he was with the boys. Because obviously these thousands of people didn't see what the hell happened to him. And he was with these group of friends. So only they know something. And look at how he's standing. Oh, I know this gonna aggravate the hell out of me. Salute, Miss Parker. Girl, listen. We started off on some MO3 pre-trial stuff, and we then ended up on this interview. Look at how he's standing, y'all. Yeah, he did it. What is going on? He got his best sister girl stance on.
Is there anything that you want to say, you want people to know about this whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, if someone's not from here, it's kind of hard to understand, where the island drops off and how the island works. But, there's plenty of people out here, especially on the 4th of July. This is where people come out to celebrate. And, I mean, if you fill the water, you can see right here, Brandon, where it drops off. I mean, you can see literally where it drops off. So, I mean, it goes from about waist deep water right there to neck deep. And then it drops from neck deep all the way to like 17, 20 foot. I mean, we weren't even a quarter mile out the island and when we were leaving, and I mean, it was 30 foot of water.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're walking towards the east right now, but if you walk down to the west, that's where the west tip of the island is. And that's where the current picks up very, very bad.
People talk about the phone situation. I want to, because the way you articulate it, I just walk in the water with my pants. They're wet. And you can tell right away that if you're hanging out in the water, it doesn't appear, in my opinion, that you would have your phone on you. Is that typical for people to have their phones or?
No, I mean, people come out here, especially on the 4th and, Memorial Day, days like that, they come out here to celebrate and people get on the water to be off their phones, first off. Second off, if I'm sitting waist deep in water and all my friends are, everybody's leaving their phone on a boat, in a lake, if you're sitting on a pond, if no one's getting out of the water with their phone in their hand, unless, it's to take a quick picture. But most of the pictures taken on the 4th of July were on the boat.
Yeah.
I mean, and, salt water, if you drop your phone in salt water, most of the time you're not going to get it back. Yeah. I mean, especially the water's murky right now because there's been a lot of rain. You can't see, the visibility isn't good. The water isn't clear like it was last year around this time. And, no one has their phone though, usually. I mean, unless you're crazy, I'm not walking around with my phone in my.
Okay, so we've always agreed that most people will leave their phone on the boat if they're standing up in the water. Most people walk through the water to get on the island and continue to party. You may have some that will stay in the water, and when they're in the water, they will leave their phone on the boat. I told y'all when I was in Puerto Rico, we did the same thing. We docked at an island. When we were in the water, we left our phone on the boat. But if we were walking through the water to get on land, to get back on that island, we had our phone with us. On top of that, even if he left his phone on the boat the entire time, I just don't see anybody saying, leave me on the island, stranded, with no cell phone. I'm saying stranded because he didn't know Katie, didn't nobody know Katie. Everybody was just meeting Katie for the first time that day. She wasn't a reliable ride home. So, what the hell? Yeah, the mama, yeah, we saw that it was told in. We saw that it was told in. We showed it earlier. If y'all go back to my thumbnail from my previous live, all the GPS information is right there. It's right there. So you can, and they went to Fort Bayou twice. I was trying to understand why after the boat got towed in to the dock that they left from, they then, after it was towed in, they left, went to Fort Bayou, came back to the dock, and then left and went back to Fort Bayou again. So what did y'all do in that time period? Were y'all hiding something? Were y'all stashing something? Were y'all, like, what was going on?
My hand, they've been walking around Horn Island, you know.
How many people left the phone on the boat? Was it just his phone when y'all left, or
right? I mean,
other people have phones on the boat?
Absolutely not. Like, there was at least, well, I rode out here on a different boat, like I told you, and I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, boat issues. And when I got on the boat, there was phones everywhere on the console. Everywhere. There was.
Wait, let's go back. Hold on.
Everybody's.
Because what boat you was on?
Like I told you, and
Home when y'all left, or
right. Crazy. I'm not walking around with my phone in my hand. They've been walking around Horn Island, you know.
How many people left the phone on the boat? Was it just his phone when y'all left, or
right?
Other people have phones on the boat?
Absolutely not. Like, there was at least, well, I rode out here on a different boat, like I told you, and I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, boat issues. And
okay, so he left. What's up, Lalisi? He came with Burton on Burton's boat, so he didn't ride to Horn Island on Wyatt's boat with Nolan. But when he left, he didn't leave on Burton's boat. He left on Wyatt's boat, the same boat that Nolan came in on.
When I got on the boat, there was phones everywhere on the console. Everywhere. There was everybody's phone that was sitting around the boat was on the console. Like, we had phones that we didn't even know whose they were, you know, and people just leave their phone, especially when people are drinking and, they're not in the right state of mind. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll just leave my phone. I'll get it later, and that's the way it is around here. You don't.
Do y'all believe that?
Take your phone and walk around the island. There's plenty of phones on the boat.
Everybody takes their phone to walk around on the island. I most definitely had mine.
And, spread out between the three boats that we had. And, we had 20 plus people on the spread between our three boats. So, of course, everybody.
What's also weird is everybody else was in communication on their phones, though.
Everybody's phone was on the. I never saw someone in the water that day sitting with their phone in their hand, scrolling on anything or even taking pictures in the water. Yeah, someone might hop out the boat. A lot of girls like to take pictures, in the water. And so do guys, but, girls want to take pictures in the water. Half a second, you might hop out the boat and be like, oh, I'm snapping this picture of myself or of someone else. But as soon as I get back in the boat, I'm putting my phone up and I'm getting back in the water and I'm hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, that's just common sense, man. And describe to me what the day was like. I saw a video online. How hectic was it out here? Right now it's barren. There's not a lot of people out here.
Right.
But clearly that's not what it was on the 4th of July. So, like, how dense was it with people here?
Well, you look at all the videos, that are spread out online, and a lot of them, you can't believe what you see all the time online. You know that better than anybody. But, there was boats lined up all the way down the island, and there was rows. There was a first row, there's a second row. We were in the third row where it drops off, and then there was even boats in front of us. And this went all the way down towards the east end of the island, and then there was people on the east tip, and we're on the north side now, but there was people on the south side too. lined up all the way down. And talk to anybody on the coast about this, they know that.
Yeah.
I mean, 4th of July, this is the hot spot. This is where people want to be. This is where people want to come out, hang out with their family and friends. And
people say that you guys just left Nolan behind. I've seen reports of people saying that you just left him. I see reports of people saying that you asked him to get on the boat. You told him to get on the boat. He didn't. What's the truth in that?
Well, Wyatt was having boat issues and the bilge wouldn't pump. So the bilge is basically a pump that releases water from your boat when water comes in. So I opened the back hatch and there's water up to the batteries. And that is obviously not good. There's water almost coming over the transom, which is where your motors sit and which is by the stern, like in the back part of the boat. So obviously we were in emergency. The boat, we're trying to save the boat. It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl.
Say what now?
What he was with. The boat, we're trying to save the boat. It's not like.
So y'all were trying to save the boat as opposed to saving y'all friend. The most important thing was saving the boat.
Like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with. And the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah. I'm glad you cleared that up because I think it's important for people to have the context.
Because the girl said that she was under the understanding that he was leaving with you guys. Y'all keep trying to throw it on this girl too.
What it was on that day,
and it's something about his posture for me. Like it's giving very, very, very sassy. And who the hell is this big ass man back here? Like, bro, y'all out there filming. Like, what is going on? Are y'all like bystanders? Or y'all on y'all own? Or y'all independent? Or are y'all with him? Please put a shirt on, sir.
what happened, what didn't happen. And the beauty of all of this is that you guys have evidence to prove that, of course, you asked Nolan to come on and different things like that. So, but anyway, man, I appreciate you,
yes, sir.
Giving me a rundown of kind of what it was like on that day.
Right.
And hopefully people can understand what the truth is and make their own decision on facts.
Right. I mean, based off people, there's not a lot of people that are from the Mississippi Gulf Coast that don't understand Horn Island and don't understand the way boating works. And, boating is a tight-knit community. I like to fish a lot and, there's, everybody.
Why white people always think they be doing stuff that nobody else know about? Like, we may not know about Horn Island, motherfucker, but we know about islands. We done been to motherfucking islands. A lot of us done came from motherfucking islands. The boating community is very tight knit. Like they always be trying to like make this like exclusive club that's just exclusive to them that nobody else knows about. So nobody understands boating and in the island unless they're from Mississippi. Like, boy, go on. Fuck you talking about?
Hey, a lot of people know a lot of people. Everybody knows everybody. I know a lot of fishermen on the Gulf Coast. They know me and my buddies because we like to go in the water all the time. I mean, that's what we do in the summer. And I mean, a lot of people from the Gulf Coast know the truth behind, you don't take your phone out the boat. The little facts. It's a difficult subject. This Horn Island's like 11 miles long, not to be exact, but around 11 miles long. It's not like this is a sliver of an island. It's a quarter mile. It's like a sandbar. No, this goes on to, even if we came around this corner right here, Brandon, we couldn't even see the end of the island.
Oh, really?
It's that long.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that was the end right there.
No. I mean, it goes all the way down there. And I mean, it's a big island. There's a lot of people out here. And I mean, that's the truth. That's the way it was.
And that's the truth, and that's the way it was. I I bet. Baby, let's see what he had to say in this third one. He also posted a video saying that being Crump gets blasted after lying about Nolan Wells' autopsy. What the hell did he lie about? See, that shit gonna piss me off. So let's just go on back to the third part of this interview because that shit gonna piss me the hell off. That's gonna piss everybody off. Now all of a sudden being Crump was lying.
I mean, Nolan was like a...
Alright, so let me put it on the big screen for y'all. Okay, Price. I believe nothing about his story, y'all. Nothing.
brother to me. Nolan lit up every room he walked in. 4th of July, everybody was out there. Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. The rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line.
Yeah, so y'all pretty much having a good time. And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Right.
And like, what? Explain that, because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah.
It's now 4:30.
Right.
People are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I had a girl come up to me and say, "Hey, your brother just got in a fight." And obviously I have a younger brother, and that's who she was talking about. And I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I didn't talk to anybody. Put my drink down and walked over there. And my brother was kind of angry, and there was a lot going on. But someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was. And my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight, and this guy punched me in the face," and I punched him right back. And then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an arm bar. And
was Nolan involved in any of this?
Absolutely not. When I was over there, it was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age. And I mean, Nolan, I never saw Nolan over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And, okay, sorry. I just lost my train of thought.
So you get ready to go.
You probably lost your train of thought because you're lying. So now all of a sudden, his brother was in an altercation where his brother was punched in the face and he punched the guy back in the face. Okay.
There's an issue with the boat.
Okay, yeah.
And this is
well,
what
this led up to that. That's what I was saying.
So the fight happened with your brother, or a little scuffle. I'm assuming that it was cleared up.
You're right.
You got your brother out of that situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking?
Well, I walk back over, and like we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I pulled my brother off the beach, and I was just like, "Listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down." I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, And so once I got back over to the boat, I got on the Triton. And the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And, no water's coming out, no access water's coming out. And, it was a big issue because I think the reason was because there were so many people getting on and off the boat. And at some point, the boat was very, very crowded. And there was just a lot of people on. So that it drags water in. And eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours. The boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater. And so the motor wouldn't trim down. I mean, my buddy would go to trim it down from the console, and it'd trim down, and then it'd come right back up. And so Wyatt's trying to throw a rear anchor, so we're caught, and he's, yelling at people. Everybody's kind of freaking out. And eventually I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could possibly sink, and I'm not paying attention to everyone around me. I was paying attention to my buddy's boat. And that's what all my other friends that were on that boat were doing, trying to solve the problem.
So you're on the boat now, the water.
Okay, so now you want us to believe that all of y'all were so distracted by what was happening with the boat that what? Y'all lost track of Nolan?
Water's getting up to the point where the boat may be disabled to where you couldn't get it out from Horn Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps to the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Meyer, you're sitting looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge. And the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the excess water out the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any excess water was just sitting in the boat. It wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel and I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the tide line.
To answer your question, Price, I most definitely been keeping my eyes on Alicia Brown crazy ass. Okay. But it haven't been any new updates. And I feel like I know what the daughter is. I think she got the daughter in Russia. She understands the language. She spent time over there. Like, in my opinion, that little girl grew up in Russia.
It's like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all this chaos. Because we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was crazy. Like, there was a lot of people. And, I mean, eventually Bart pulls us out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had the towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow. And so it was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. So that's when Wyatt called Cito. And Wyatt was like, calls him, because the cell service isn't great at the island, but once you can use your phone, but stuff might not just send. And it's not great. You got maybe one bar, it won't work that well. But once you get a little off the island, you have cell coverage. And even on the island, like, I called my mom when we were on the island, it was fine. Like, we had.
Right there. I called my mom while we were on the island. But you just made us believe in that last interview that nobody had their cell phones, that nobody was on the island with their cell phones, that it was just a bunch of a pile of phones just sitting on the boat while everybody was having a good time and nobody wanted to deal with a cell phone. But you just said, I actually called my mom on the island. So if you called your mom, you want us to believe that Nolan just made no phone calls. He just did not have his phone the whole time. And then Nolan, like, y'all got to make it make sense. It just don't make sense.
We had send and it's not great. You got maybe one bar, it won't work that well. But once you get a little off the island, you have cell coverage. And even on the island, like, I called my mom when we were on the island, it was fine. Like, we had enough cell coverage to make a phone call or shoot a text over, but you don't have enough cell coverage to, like, send a picture, for example.
You know exactly what the cell coverage was giving, because you was doing all that. You was trying to send text messages, you was calling, you was taking photos, you was trying to post to your page, just like every other person on the island. So why did you try to make us believe that nobody had their cell phone? Child. Tragic.
So what?
So I want to go back.
Yeah,
so I want to touch on that real quick because the phone thing came up at some point. And so was it when you guys got off the boat?
Yeah.
I mean, were people taking their phones off the boat, or is that not typical? Because I know
Now
that
lie again.
Nolan's phone was left on the boat.
Now lie again.
Even though, after you guys had left. So can you explain that? Because I think people need to understand this a little clearer.
Yeah.
Was it typical for people to have their phones left on boats, or did they keep their phones in the water?
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of goes out to the island to get away from, their phones and everything else. I know I got on the boat to get away from, just the regular world. And no, when you're waist deep in water, no one's carrying their phone in their hand, especially at Horn Island. The water has been very, very murky because of the rain.
Just repeat it. He's on repeat. Nobody wants to stand waist deep with their cell phone. Baby, that's besides the point. We understand what nobody in the water with their cell phone. But you just told us that you talked to your mama while you were on the island. So you had your cell phone. Why are you making it seem like having a cell phone, not having a cell phone is so standard, but you had yours? So you were the only one going against the grain. What?
And when you it's just very risky. If you're gonna have your phone in the water, some people might for a couple minutes and like maybe taking some pictures of each other. I know a lot of girls like to take pictures in the water at Horn Island. Guys do too. Like people like to take pictures, and but a lot of the pictures you see are on the boat for a reason. And so, no, I mean, if someone is on their phone in the water, they're using it real quick and then putting it right back on the boat. We were all waist deep in water.
See, this motherfucker think he's slick. He keep covering his ass by saying nobody was in the water with their phone. Okay, what about outside of that goddamn water? When you were actually on the island, when you actually walked up on the sand on the island, what about then? Because you keep trying to cover your ass with nobody was wasted. Okay, we get it. Nobody had their phone in the water. But what about on land, baby? You had your phone on land. Why does he keep avoiding that and going back to people being in the water with their phone? Like, what? I swear they think we dumb.
Or no one's sitting there scrolling on their phone. I never saw that once. And I've never seen that once. And I've been out the Highland my whole life. I mean, that's just not something people do. People aren't on their phones. And everybody has their phone, yes, but it's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone.
But you did.
And so you guys get ready to leave out.
You did. You got off the boat with your phone while you were on the island. You called your mom. You just said that.
Out of there, getting towed out. Yeah. And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3:00. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. Yeah, Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously, no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing, but Nolan was sitting by the boat.
Okay. If this was so common, then why was it weird to everybody but you and y'all? Well, we can't speak for the other ones because we never heard from them. But why was it? Because everybody, if this was just normal and y'all go here every year and that's just how things end up, why is his parents and his friends all saying that he's never done that before? But now we're supposed to believe that y'all do this every year. Y'all come with one person, y'all leave with another person. Like, if this was common, like, wouldn't that have been said from jump? Like, yeah, we always do that. Man, this is bullshit.
With that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled at,
With that Katie girl. With that Katie girl.
yelled for. Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else.
First of all, I hate how he stuttered through this answer. Like, what?
And it's not somebody yelled at, a very common thing, but Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said,
how many people heard that? Were there
at least
just a
5
few,
to, I mean, everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead.
Okay, so riddle me this. If he was cradling Katie on the beach, right by the boat, they were so close to the boat that they were in yelling distance, where he could hear y'all and y'all could hear him. So that means that Katie girl was sitting right there. Why would she think that he's getting back on the boat with his friends if she just heard him tell his friends that he's staying and will find a ride? Is it just me? Hey, Keek, baby. Is it just me? It's got to be just me. I'm overanalyzing. Like, what? If Katie was right there, heard him turn down the ride, heard him say, I'm staying on the island, why would she assume that he was getting on the boat with his friends that he came with if she was right there when he said he wasn't getting on the boat? So somebody lying. Either that Katie girl is lying or y'all are lying. Which one is it?
And went home on the Palm Beach, and three guys all the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. I mean, we had multiple people in our group that rode out with us and rode in on someone else's boat. And that, like I said, that's not an uncommon thing to do. I mean, a lot of people do that. I could name probably 50 people out there that day that ran out with somebody and ran back in with somebody else. So, I mean, it's not like it's an uncommon thing, but it's not like we just left him there or my friends just left him there. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island after my friends asked him multiple times and told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling
correct
for Nolan to get on it. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, this is the last time I saw him, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat. And she was right there to see that Nolan decided not to.
Yeah. And so you guys get in the boat, you start to get told.
So hold on. So now you putting that Katie girl under fire, right? So riddle me this. You have the proof and you have the screenshot of it. y'all took us way to Horn Island. Where the fuck Officer Tatum from? Is he from Mississippi? Did he have to travel to go to Horn Island? Because we just seen this nigga on the island. So y'all went way on a motherfucking field trip. A motherfucking field trip to Horn Island was easier than y'all posting this motherfucking message from that Katie girl. Man, what? Why it's not on the screen? Like that's some easy shit. We should be looking at this message. Y'all took a field trip to Horn Island. We just seen you niggas on the boat. I mean on the beach, on the island. But y'all ain't gonna show us this proof, this 100% proof that Katie heard y'all tell him get on the boat and him turning it down. Y'all ain't gonna show us that, but y'all will go take a trip to Horn Island. Man, come on.
Boat in and you make it back. Now explain how did you get to the point where you were concerned about Nolan? Because obviously you said, hey, Nolan, y'all need to, or somebody, not
when
you,
did I get
but
to that point?
You guys that may mention Nolan need to get on a boat.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
You guys get back to wherever you're going.
Right.
Explain that. Did you guys go back to somebody's house, or you guys like what happened there? And then when did you feel like, well, wait a minute, where's Nolan?
Right. Okay. Well, running in was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, because if the boat doesn't get in, then no one gets in. I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat, and no one does. But my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we kind of got out there, because he got the motor to trim down, and the motor trimmed down.
Lord, not another Fort Worthian. Lord. So he didn't travel from Fort Worth, Texas to Horn Island, Mississippi. And they didn't show us the receipt from Katie. Like, wouldn't the receipt from Katie just clear them? Like, wouldn't they not need lawyers? And they could easily be back on social media if they have 100% proof that distances them from Nolan. What?
My buddy Wyatt pulled the plug and we planed off. We moved all the way to the front of the boat so we could plane off. And eventually we planed off and the boat was running. So when you're planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat.
So double up to answer your question, Katie has spoken out a few times. First through her mom, then through her sister. Then she finally came out herself and had a one-on-one personal conversation with Nolan Wills' mom. So she is not MIA. She is not MIA. She has said since the beginning that, yes, she talked to Nolan on the island, but her and Nolan parted ways with her under the impression that he was getting on the boat with his friend. And now the friend is saying that Katie was right there with Nolan, cradled up in Nolan's arms when they asked him to get on the boat. And he said, nah, I'm going to stay. So either Katie lying or y'all lying. But Katie is not lawyered up. I don't think she deleted her social media or anything like that. These boys have all lawyered up, all deleted their social media, won't give any. I guess the only reason why they're doing this interview is because, it's obviously staged, in my opinion. All of the questions, you know what I'm saying? He knows how to answer them. And when he trips up, you can tell that he trips up from time to time, trying to remember the details of this lie, because it's all lies.
So, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water And Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went.
Okay. So this explains the 2 trips to Fort Bayou. Now, make this make sense. I put the GPS on the screen. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me take this down for 1 second. Okay? So that we can make everything make sense. Let's pull up my thumbnail from earlier because it has all the GPS data. And I'm going to ask a pretty simple question. Okay? This question is not going to be hard at all. Okay? Not hard at all. All right. So let me see if I could get this. All right. Let's stop sharing that. And let's get over here and share this right quick so that y'all can see and be able to see what I see. Okay. Put this on the big screen right quick. All right. So this is the GPS data. All right. Now my question is very simple. After they had this distress call at 4, the people towing the boat arrived at 4:31 and they all left Horn Island. So the boat gets docked and returned to the original dock that they left from. They left from this original dock at 9:56 a.m. Let me go to my other screen so y'all can see them out. So they left the island, the same original dock, at 9:56 a.m. They returned to the original dock at 5:44 p.m. Then they left, went to Fort Bayou, came back to the original dock, and then went back to Fort Bayou, moved the boat to a vehicle, and drove the boat off. Now, he just said that the reason why they left from the original dock to go to Fort Bayou was so that Wyatt could hook these cables back up. He couldn't do that at the boating dock. He had to leave and go to Fort Bayou to do it, only to come back to the dock, only to go back to Fort Bayou. If y'all only went to Fort Bayou to hook the cables up for the Blige pump, why the hell y'all didn't just stay there and hook it up to the vehicle that it ended up leaving on? Why did y'all go back to the original dock and then come back to Fort Bayou? Make it make sense. It's a simple ass question. It's simple. Y'all only went to Fort Bayou to hook the cables up. So what the hell did y'all go back to the original dock for and then go back to Fort Bayou? It seems to me that y'all would have hooked the cables up and then went on and moved the boat to the vehicle and drove the boat off. Not go back to the original dock and then go back to Fort Bayou. The hell are we talking about? So I'm going to remove that now, and we're going to go back to this fucked up ass interview. These lies. Because, yeah, no. That makes absolutely no sense. And then to say Nolan Wells' best friend tells the truth, because he been saying that Nolan was like his brother. That's his brother. His brother Nolan. Child. All right.
Went back to my buddy's house and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so we were all tired. And eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine, she was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. So we all went over there to swim and, hang out. And
this infamous picture that I've seen online of Nolan in the water in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Where is this picture associated with? Because you said you guys went back to swim. Nolan wasn't with you.
Yeah.
So where is this picture at? Like, what is it? What's the context around that picture that's been floating?
That picture is taken on June 27th, a week before the 4th of July. We all went to a friend of ours in Pass Christian. We have a lot of friends from Bay St. Louis, Pass Christian, and we all went over there to hang out. And,
and Nolan was in that picture.
Nolan was in that picture. And if you look in the picture, my arm is around Nolan in that picture, And, I mean, that was a week before the 4th of July. So that picture is not associated within even the same. I mean, that was like a week before. So, yeah.
So you guys are now.
Are y'all buying it? I mean, I don't know. We always knew that we didn't know where the pool picture came from. We didn't know if it was taken on that night. But are y'all buying that it was actually taken on June 27th, a week before? Yes, they had pool parties back to back, child.
At swimming and having a good time at a lady friend's house.
Right. I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while, and I mean, all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We were talking about boats and stuff, and I've been with my friends all day. I was just talking to everybody, but
so you talked to the young lady's dad, and then how long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that, well, where's Nolan at?
I mean, I went back downstairs and all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, talking about Nolan, and I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him? And he was like, no, we haven't. And I was like, okay, well, it's a little concerning. Like, I mean, I'm not freaking out or anything, but like, I'm trying to find out.
So now they've noticed that Nolan is not with them again. Wait.
Or Nolan, so I was like, well, upstairs, and all my friends are just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, talking about Nolan, and I was like,
my buddy Wyatt. Wyatt is the most suspicious one to me at this point. But Wyatt randomly starts thinking and talking about Nolan at the pool party. Okay.
Well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him? And he was like, no, we haven't. And I was like, okay, well, it's a little concerning. Like, I mean, I'm not freaking out or anything, but like, I'm trying to find out where Nolan is. So I texted Javon and I was like, hey, and also a couple other buddies that I had at the island. I was like, hey, have y'all seen Nolan? Did he ride in with y'all? And all the buddies were like, no. Well, I texted Javon and I was like, hey, can you send me Miss Christine's number? Because I haven't heard from Nolan. And if she hasn't heard from Nolan, then I'm calling the Coast Guard. And so eventually Javon sends me her number.
Who is her? That's
Miss Christine.
Miss Christine is
Nolan's mom.
Nolan's mom.
Okay. Yeah. And I walked down to the dock.
So who was here when I played the first part of this video or this interview? Because he made it a point to stress that he had never met Nolan's parents. He had never been by their house. Nolan only came by his house. That he had never, ever been to Nolan's house. Now, all of a sudden, you know Christine by name. Enough to ask for her number. Baby. Yeah. This some high-tech bullshit right here. This some high-tech bullshit right here, y'all. Like, what? You don't know this lady. You ain't never met this lady. You said y'all was best friends since like the 8th grade. He's like a brother to you, but you ain't never been by his house, but he's been by your house a whole bunch of times. But now you done called Javon asking for Christine number, somebody that you have never met. That's weird.
Because I mean, there's a lot of people. It was not a lot, but there was probably 15 of our friends there, and I was just like, walked down to the dock with a couple of my buddies, and I got on the phone I called Miss Christine, called her the first time, she didn't answer. I called her a second time, and I got on the phone with her, and I asked her if she had heard from Nolan. She said no, and I said, all right, well, don't freak out. I'm going to call the Coast Guard, and this was at about 11 o'clock.
So what's your intent in calling the Coast Guard, right? Because right now, Nolan could be with a chick. He could be with somebody else.
Right.
He could have gone back with somebody else. What made you concerned enough that you felt like you couldn't weigh it out anymore? You had to call the Coast Guard.
Well, I mean,
Another thing. How did y'all think that Nolan was supposed to get in touch with y'all? Or y'all was supposed to hear from him if y'all had his cell phone? I mean, I don't know about nobody else, but I'm grown as fuck and I don't know people's number by heart. I probably only know my mama number by heart. And my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter. That's the only two people who number I know by heart. Hold on, Rain. I'm about to drop it. Yeah, those only two people number I know by heart. So how did y'all expect Nolan to get in touch with y'all if y'all done rolled off in the boat with his phone? Like, how was he supposed to contact y'all? Y'all way at a pool party that he may or may not know about. Like, this shit is crazy. For them to sit here and put all these lies in front of our face, though, is insane.
like I said, my friends and I have been on the water our whole life. Stuff happens. People die all the time. I know people that have died out there. And, it's a fun place to be, but it's also a very, very dangerous place to be if you're not handling it right. And Nolan, so I hadn't heard from him. And obviously, I'm thinking.
Hey, baby.
What's up, Rain?
What you over here talking about?
I'm over here talking about Nolan Wills and his lying-ass friend.
I can't hear you.
I'm over here talking about Nolan Wills.
Hello. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Cole. I mean, PayDae. I can't hear you. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, turn this bitch off.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Back to Nolan Wills' lying-ass friend.
I'd way rather be safe than sorry. I mean, I would rather call the Coast Guard 100 times and lose my mind over it. My buddy be okay.
Why your sound go out?
It might be because I removed the interview from the stage. Can you hear me now?
Now, what is that? What interview was that?
That's Nolan Wills supposed to be friend.
Nobody give a damn about no Nolan.
Yes, we do. Don't say that.
No, we don't.
We do. They did that boy something. I don't care what nobody say.
That was his dumb ass hanging with him.
Well, I mean, he lives in a city where he probably had to deal with these type of folks all the time.
Nah, that was his friend.
They were. But he lives in a very diverse area.
So what they saying? We trying to say they killed him?
I mean, I'm saying that they know more than they're saying. Like, you don't think it's weird that all the friends lawyered up, like, right off the bat, and then they deleted all of their social media? You don't think that's weird? If one of your friends, something happened to them, like, is your first thing to do is lawyer up?
The first thing, something happened to one of my friends, and y'all blame me.
But if you telling the truth, then nothing can stand against the truth.
It took 5 years for y'all to understand I'm telling the truth.
I mean, but we're not the,
And then look, the killer was over here making songs like, y'all, we the one did it. Y'all still blaming me. Like, straight up.
I mean, everybody then got blamed at this point.
No,
y'all. Dallas and Fort Worth area, you didn't been blamed for 3.
But
like, no lie, they done blamed everybody.
Yeah, but they would blame me the most, and I was telling y'all we the one did, and y'all was still blaming me, including you.
Ain't no y'all.
You was who?
No, I always felt like they had something to do with it.
So you end up blaming me.
I've questioned whether, you know what I'm saying?
Just like you question the innocent white boys.
Yeah.
You niggas ain't
But
got no loyalty at all.
guess what? The truth is the truth though. Like, I know one thing. If something happened to one of my friends and we was all together that night and I'm telling the truth, I don't need no lawyer or nothing else, because I know what I'm gonna say is the truth and my story ain't gonna never change. And you'll never be able to
I got a lawyer.
You lawyered up?
Damn yeah.
I mean, but you have a lawyer for other reasons. Like
No.
you
But what y'all was saying, and I kind of said, y'all was crucifying me.
I think Double Up say he still think you did some shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm on the white boy side because these niggas don't give a damn. These niggas will blame anybody, but
Don't
they
do
said
that, Rain. Because guess what? What if this was your son? I mean, listen.
I would have said I know my son. My son probably dropped to that water, think he could swim and died.
But what if that ain't in your son's character? So you just gonna dry put stuff on your son?
I know my son.
So I'm asking because okay, you have money, right? So that means your kid, you have money, right? So that means your kid is gonna be in situations that the normal black person wouldn't, the normal black kid wouldn't be around. He gonna be in rooms and around people of different nationalities and everything like that. So this could have been your son for real.
No, I understand that, but I know my kids.
Yeah, and with knowing your kid, like they know their kid, and they feel like their kid wouldn't have been left on the island without his friends. That he would have left with the same people he came with. They also feel like he would have posted on Snapchat and had his phone. Like why did they have his phone? Nobody leaves their phone behind. I don't care if you're a teenager or an adult. Nobody leaving their phone with their friends. Like, hey, leave me on this island with Katie, but hey, take my car keys and my phone with y'all. Make that make sense.
So did they find the body?
Yeah, they found the body 2 days later in the exact spot that they had been looking for 2 days.
And so in the exact spot they found the body. So y'all saying somebody put it there?
I mean, how else would it get there? Because okay, keep in mind, after everybody left Horn Island after celebrating for the 4th of July, they had two groups of people that stayed on the island and tented out on the island. Two separate groups of people. So they stayed on the island overnight. None of them seen him. So he just washed up in the same spot they've been looking in for 2 days. Make that make sense?
Yeah. So nobody moved. Then what happened?
That's what I'm saying. They would have found that body. They've been looking for 2 days in that same area, and then he came back to that same area they've been looking in. That don't make sense to it. He might have got a phone call, y'all. Why was that boat sinking was so important? In my opinion, I think they might have been trying to create an alibi. It seems like the Blige pump is it's easy to disconnect and connect. So how we don't know that they ain't disconnected to call in and have an alibi to say Nolan Wells wasn't on that boat when it was towed? Like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But all right, I'm about to press play. I think he got a phone call.
Okay, then not, and me not know where he is and him not be okay. And so I called the Coast Guard and I talked to them on the phone for like 20 minutes, gave him a description, what Nolan was wearing, the last place we were at, the last time I saw him, who were we with, what boat we were on, the conditions of the water, just a summary. And I called Miss Christine back after, and
it's probably 88 calling him like, get down off of him. I told you I don't mess with her. Get down, Rain.
Talked to her. And I said, I got to contact the Coast Guard. I'm not sure who she called or, what she did, but I think she said she was going to make a couple phone calls to either DMR or Jackson County Sheriff's Office. And I was thinking worst case scenario. I would way rather be safe than sorry about this,
Yeah, so you called. So it seems like you called mom immediately.
Right.
Probably the first phone call that she got from anybody.
That's the first phone call, like at least I made. And I would assume that's the first phone call she got from anybody because Javon hadn't called her. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but Javon hadn't called her. And, I mean, I was just worried about my friend. You know, stuff happens out there, boat problems. It could be anything. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens out there. And I was just worried about my friend.
And so you guys made that call, nothing that night. And I'm assuming you wake up the next day, and then what happens?
I wake up the next day at about 7:30, and my dad had texted me because obviously Nolan's photo was all over Facebook, and you know, I just saw it everywhere, and I was freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, like that, you know, I assumed, you know, Nolan's just, you know, we had been drinking all day, and like, you know, that he's just sleeping somewhere, and you know that he's okay, but
Man, ain't no way that you thought he was just sleeping somewhere with no phone and no car keys, and all y'all friends that made it to this pool party. I'm pretty sure word through teenagers travel fast, so everybody knew where everybody was at. But you think he's somewhere just sleeping it off, and nobody know where he is with no cell phone. The hell?
I didn't want to believe that if we didn't know for sure. So, I mean, next day I woke up and my stepdad walked to my room and he said, hey, like, have they heard anything about Nolan? Like, what's going on? Because I hadn't spoke to him, and he was like, I was like, yeah, no, like, I don't know. I had just gotten up, and he was like, all right, well, we're going and getting on the boat and looking for him. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I got my buddy Ricky, I got my buddy Brooks, and I got my buddy Jax. My mom came on the boat with my stepdad and I, and we all went out there and looked. When I got out there, there was...
There's another way. Discover another.
Dozens of DMR boats, helicopters, planes flying over Horn Island. And this wasn't just Horn.
Okay, let's go ahead and drop Rain to the back. The link in the chat if you need to hit it again, Rain.
Horn Island. There was also Ship Island they were looking at, I'm sure, and Chandelier Island, Petty Boy. I mean, it wasn't just Horn Island specifically, but where I was at Horn, there were boats everywhere, and not just like random boats, but like, you know, marine resource boats and, you know, cops and, you know, the whole nine. Like, it wasn't like there was just a couple boats looking for Nolan. There was planes and helicopters and, you know, everybody. So.
And then after this, you know, obviously they didn't find Nolan that day.
Right.
And so what was your reaction like when you heard the news, or how did you hear the news that they found Nolan's body?
Well, the next day, well, it got to be about 1 o'clock on July 5th. And I was like, my mind started to turn. I was like, man, you know, if he's not awake yet, like, where is he? Like, you know, like I got very, very worried. And, you know, I was with my buddy Brooks the next day, and we're driving, and my buddies were texting my group chat. They were like, hey, listen. And then I got a phone call from my buddy Trace, and he was like, hey, man, they just found his body. And I was like, I wanted to have hope, but it was really, really hard to have hope when they haven't found your buddy in the last 2 days. And, but there's still a little bit of hope there, you know, like maybe, you know, he's not gone, and maybe, you know, he's okay. But my reaction was just, I was with my buddy Brooks, and I broke down. I mean, I haven't experienced death a lot, but especially with someone I'm as close with as Nolan. And I mean, I broke down, and I sat there on my buddy Brooks' shoulder, and I cried, and I was upset. I made a couple phone calls to my buddies and checked up on my buddies, because, you know, I care about my buddies too. I mean, like, we're all experienced this. Like, we all realized at the same time. We all heard the news at the same time. Like, you know, he's gone. And so it was really, really hard on me. I mean, I've never experienced something like this, and it was traumatic.
No, Royalty Rain. No. I don't know if the friend Wyatt is supposed to be the one that's the judge's stepson, but it's not this guy right here. I'm saying you said Nolan was like a brother for you. So you left your brother on the island with no cell phone, no keys, with some girl named Katie that y'all didn't even know.
Man, I mean, I can tell you where and when I was there, when I got that phone call, you know, where I was. And I just remember, like, it was insane. Like, I can't even put into words how upset I was, you know, and how upset my friends were. So.
And then comes the stories and the backlash and, and the craziness. I mean, you guys are now hearing that you're responsible for it. You did it. You killed Nolan. So what was the next step? Did you guys ever engage with police or?
Yeah. So the first time I talked to the police was July 7th. I talked to the lead investigator and I told him my whole story, top to bottom, dotted every I, crossed every T. I told him everything I knew, every little detail. I mean, everything I could, you know, tell them to try to figure something out, you know.
Well, you don't want to talk to the cops or
no, of course
some
not.
Other guys?
You know, every person that was included, especially, you know, the guys that you see on social media, everybody cooperated with the police fully. You know, Nolan was with us on the way out and he rode out on the boats with us. So, I mean, we were the first people to get questioned. I mean, we cooperated with the police the first time they called us and, you know, we talked to them, you know, as soon as they needed, and we were fully cooperative.
And we see Benjamin Crump coming to town, made it about race.
Right.
What's your feeling about that? Do you think that any of this has anything to do with race? Or, because, I mean, obviously something happened to Nolan. It appears that you guys may not have been involved at all. When I say may not, it's no evidence that you were involved at all. Right. You guys had left. Right. But do you think that there's a racial component to any of this?
Of course not. I mean, I think if Nolan ever felt the most little bit uncomfortable around us, which we never gave him a reason to, but if he did, he wouldn't hang out around us. But if you go look on, you know, like my friends have had Nolan posted all over our social medias, you know, since freshman year in high school. Like, if Nolan ever felt uncomfortable with us, why would he be hanging out with us all the time? I mean, every day we're back from college, we hang out and we're around each other all the time. So absolutely not. I would never look at Nolan any other way than I would any of my other friends. I mean, he was like a brother to me.
You guys had been interviewed by law enforcement. All of you guys have given statements. But then I think that there's a part associated with this that's being rumored out in the public, and that is the situation with the cell phone, potential deletion of messages. When did that occur, and what happened there?
Man. We went from one disappointing interview to three. Okay. First, we heard from Larry the Loser. Then we heard from Nolan's friend. All these goddamn lies, all these goddamn inconsistencies, everything that don't make sense. He made everything not make sense even more. Like, and it didn't make it no better that y'all or that you said that Wyatt said, Nolan, get on the fucking boat. Like, let me see if I can go back to that specific part. Let me see. Let's see, y'all. Cause that kind of threw me.
I think probably 50 people out there that day that ran out with somebody and ran back in with somebody else. So, I mean, it's not like it's an uncommon thing, but it's not like we just left him there or my friends just left him there. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island after my friends asked him multiple times and told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling
for
Nolan to get on. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking. Everybody was texting Katie, you know, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day. My friends asked him multiple times, multiple people in our group that rode out with us and rode in on someone else's boat. And that, like I said, that's not an uncommon thing to do. You know, I mean, a lot of people do that. I can name probably 50 people out there that day that ran out with somebody and ran back in with somebody else. So, I mean, it's not like it's an uncommon thing, but it's not like we just left him there or my friends just left him there. I mean, everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Yell for Nolan. Nolan, get at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. You know, it's a very common thing. But Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan. Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking with that Katie girl. And my buddy yelled for Nolan. Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but
yeah, I'm not going at all, y'all. But I'm gonna release y'all to these YouTube streets. I guess they're gonna drop part 4. Shit. Well, that was part 3. So I guess they're gonna drop part 4, and I guess he's gonna try to lie and explain the deleted messages on the phone. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know who was worse, Larry the Loser or Nolan goddamn friends, man. But I'm out of here. Thank you, Prize Baby. But yeah, y'all, stay safe in these YouTube streets, man. Y'all have a good night. I'll probably be back in the morning.